What is up, my veggies? My name is Richie and welcome back to another movie review. And today we are reviewing Speak No Evil, the 2024 version. Before we get into anything, let's go ahead and read the synopsis real quick. When an American family is invited to spend the weekend at the, I don't know how to say that, I don't want to butcher it, their country estate of a charming British family they befriended on vacation. What begins as a dream holiday soon wraps up into a snarling psychological nightmare. So, for the most part, this movie is a beat for beat of the Danish film. You know, this was a remake of a Danish film 2 years ago. It's pretty much a beat for beat remake for the first bit, with a few things added in, but still still entertaining in its own right, and still does what it wants you to. It still does it well. It's still it's still following the original movie beat for beat, but it's doing it well and it's not bad. When we get to the final act of the film, it's a completely different movie. When you get to the final act, it's a completely different movie, and it's not as unique and like, oh my goodness, they did that, as the Danish film, but it's still done well, I'd say. One of the major highlights of this movie is James McAvoy as Patty. Oh my goodness, he does a good job at being intimidating, and like there's always this uneasy feeling watching him. He plays the character so well, and the acting, and they throw some motivations to characters that like it's a little different. Like it makes you question, like, okay, so was this person like this the whole time? Like, did they 100% listen to this, that, and the other? Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's very interesting how they go about it. And the overall cast is really good. There's this the daughter. At first, her acting was like pretty like, okay, this is bad acting. But as the movie went, it got better. I don't know if like what that was or anything. The director did a good job. There was some weird editing things in one part. Like I noticed, like there was like just some weird editing cuts. And I was like, oh, what in the world is going on there? But overall, like it does seem like the way the movie is shot is actually really well done. I think the movie is shot in a very beautiful manner. I think the movie in some scenes and some of the tension scenes are really good. Like you're wondering like how is this gonna happen? And then there's like there is a kind of a scene that's like, whoa, can't believe that just happened moment. It's not as big as like the ones in the original, but like it's like, whoa, that just happened. And like the acting, there's a the little boy in the movie, I forget his name, Ant is his name, I think. Yeah, from what I saw, this is the first time this kid's ever acted, and like in the fact that he didn't actually have to speak, he did a really good job at conveying the emotions and everything, and the urgency of what's going on, and it did a really good job. And it's like I said, this movie is just done. It's not as good as the Danish film, but like it's a version of Speak No Evil that stands on its own. I think like you don't have to be and then I'm not looking. And critics and audiences seem to agree. Like pretty much spot on. I don't want to do this like later in the review. I want to go and say it now. Critics give this a 83 and audiences give it an 84. Critics and audience are pretty much on the same page when it comes to this movie, and it is really well done. Not as good as the Danish film, but obviously, like most people probably didn't even know the Danish film existed, and the fact that Blumhouse, who are kind of like the one of the big powerhouses of horror movies nowadays, is the ones that did it, because like Blumhouse has made some stinkers recently. I haven't seen them, and I've heard their stinkers. I haven't heard really good things. I remember the last Blumhouse movie I think I watched was Imaginary, and that wasn't good. But this movie was actually very well done in my opinion. Um, it's not as unique. It's still a unique concept when you like put it with the original, but then like the ending and the third act is completely different. I think that's gonna be the make or break it for people. For is the final act, especially if you've seen the Danish film. That's gonna be the breaking point. Like, okay, do I like this movie? Do I not like this movie? That's gonna be the deciding factor. Is that, and I think the movie did. I think the trailers show a little too much, but then like I watched both the trailer for this one back to back before we watched the new one, and I was like, oh yeah, the trailer's pretty much the same. Except like there's a little more given away in the 2024 version. But hey, I think the movie overall stands on its own. Like, it doesn't rely too much on like, because like the thing is like, I'm glad they did something different. 'Cause I was sitting there actually like, kind of on edge. Like, is it gonna be the same ending as the other version or what? And like I said about James McAvoy, he does a great job, and the rest of the actors do really good too. Mackenzie Davis, Scott McNair. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but the character that plays Kara, or however you say her name, the daughter, aunt, the entire cast is pretty good. They do a pretty dang good job. There's the act when like when like some of the crazier sides of some of these characters get to come out, I think is done pretty well. If I had any negatives, like I said, there's some editing issues here where I'm like, okay, and I feel like the movie's actually paced pretty decently. It doesn't feel like the movie overstays its welcome. It is like a slow burn, but that's kind of the thing with the original. But like, it doesn't feel like you're like, oh, get me to the crazy stuff, because like you're always wondering what is going on with these people while like how much, and like obviously going into knowing the original, you know what's going on, but there's still stuff for you here if you've seen the original. And I think both of these versions of this film can stand out on their own. I do personally, and I'm personally I'm gonna throw my rating out now. I got 2 minutes to say, I'm gonna throw my rating out now. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 4 out of 5. I think that's what I gave the original. I don't know, but I think both of these movies stand well on their own. I might do a more in-depth video in the future talking about both of these films, but overall, I enjoyed this movie. I think it does what it comes to do in such an interesting way. And it's actually just, I think it serves the film in a very different way. And it's interesting. A funny thing, actually, I can't talk about that, say that, that'll go into full on spoilers. I don't want to spoil this for people. Because if you haven't seen, I don't want to spoil the original, and I don't want to spoil this. That's why I kind of want to do another video comparing the two films. And I actually want to watch them back to back. So I'm not going to do that for a future video one day. But overall, with that being said, this movie is done, I'd say, pretty darn well. Have you guys seen Speak No Evil? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of the movie. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think we shouldn't have had a remake of it? But let me know. I'm very curious what you guys think. That's all I gotta say for this, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!